Welcome to Heidi Relationships. Today, we'll read some more stories from Reddit. But before we start, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. That would help the channel a lot. Thank you very much in advance.
Before we start, please check out the last two videos, Part 1 and Part 2, if you have not seen them. They are linked in the description. In terms of abbreviations, AP and POS stands for Affair Partner, IC means Individual Counseling, SL means Shark Lawyer. The first one is titled, Update 1. Finally, some good news. Business not personal but any sun shining on me is good right now. On Friday I was contacted by a home builder that I had been trying to land a contract with that they have chosen my company as the landscaping contractor for a subdivision where they are building high-end homes on minimum 3/4 acre lots. Can't tell you how happy that made me. The kids and I went to Wayward Spouse's place Saturday to talk. It went about how you would think it would. Very emotional and a lot of angry venting. Our daughter went off on her pretty good. I had to cut her off a few times. Each time Wayward Spouse stopped me and said she needed to say everything that was on her mind and that she, Wayward Spouse, deserves all of it for what she has put our family through. They were both in tears by the time she was done. Son took his turn, not as angry, I think because he has talked to his mom since D-Day. Our daughter hasn't spoken to Wayward Spouse since D-Day, 7 weeks ago. Have to get back to work. POS's world is going to come crashing down this afternoon. The next one is titled, Update 2. Okay, so here it is. POS got scorched this afternoon. I'm retelling some of what was told to me by our lawyer and other betrayed spouse. Earlier in the afternoon Shark Lawyer, SL from now on, made whatever filings she had to make at county courthouse. Then she emailed the CEO and HR managers of both company Wayward Spouse was at and his previous employer. Late in the afternoon she showed up at Wayward Spouse company with other betrayed spouse and Wayward Spouse with her. Her assistant was also there. While Shark Lawyer, SL, and Wayward Spouse and other betrayed spouse went to HR, Shark Lawyer's assistant went to CEO's office to deliver hard copies of court filings. The three women walked into HR manager's office closed door and sat down. HR knows Wayward Spouse, but Shark Lawyer introduced herself and other betrayed spouse. Then proceeds to hand her copy of lawsuit naming company and POS in sexual harassment lawsuit. Included are sworn affidavits from Wayward Spouse and the next affair partner detailing POS behavior and abuse of power. HR manager has the typical corporate response of going to legal department etc. Shark Lawyer asks HR if she could escort her to POS's office so she can deliver copy to him. Before they leave CEO bursts into office with papers in hand saying, "What the hell is this about?" Realizes who else is in the office and mumbles "Excuse me." Shark Lawyer stands and introduces herself saying, "I think you know what this is about." CEO looks at Wayward Spouse and asks, "Is this why you left?" Shark Lawyer cuts her off telling her not to answer. Shark Lawyer asks again to be escorted to POS's office. CEO asks her to wait outside for a moment. Other betrayed spouse and Wayward Spouse leave and come to building lobby where I'm waiting with AP number 2 from old job. Shark Lawyer can hear HR manager and CEO talking in the office. After a few minutes they come out and tell Shark Lawyer to follow them. They arrive at POS office and go inside. CEO tries to introduce Shark Lawyer but forgot her name, so she introduces herself. Explains who she represents and starts with handing him divorce papers from other betrayed spouse saying she is suing him for divorce for infidelity. Next comes papers naming him as co-defendant in sexual harassment lawsuit against him and the company. Then she hands him more papers naming him as codependent in sexual harassment lawsuit against him and former company. Finally, she gives him papers saying she is seeking to reopen the child support agreement between him and AP number 2. Explains that AP number 2 didn't have proper legal representation and that any new child support claims would be going back to the beginning and seek to attach claim to any severance pay from company including current wages as well as his retirement benefits including but not limited to his 401k and any future employment. To say he was in total disbelief would be an understatement according to Shark Lawyer. All he could mumble out was something about "what do you mean any future employment?" CEO spoke and said that his employment with company was terminated effective immediately. He was to turn over keys, company phone and ID and leave immediately. Any personal items would be mailed to him. Shark Lawyer then asked CEO if he would sign documents along with HR manager as to both the company and POS being properly served legal papers. He agreed and asked HR manager to have security remove him from the building. Shark Lawyer left, leaving a card with POS and telling him to have his lawyer contact her. She comes to lobby and meets me, AP number 2, wayward spouse and other betrayed spouse. Only a few minutes pass when POS gets off elevator with security walking him out. The four of us start clapping as he is dejectedly walked past us. I fought the urge to say something. AP number 2 couldn't though and said karma is a bitch and so am I, you asshole. After a few minutes goodbyes are said. AP number 2 gives Shark Lawyer a huge hug, thanking her, saying she hasn't felt that good in years. Wayward spouse says goodbye and walks to elevator, saying she's going up to her old department. I'm a little confused, not idea what she is going back there for. Shark Lawyer invites other betrayed spouse and me out for dinner to discuss and fill in the gaps about what happened today. While at dinner she told other betrayed spouse what most likely happened concerning divorce filing. I asked her about lawsuits moving forward and she politely told me she couldn't discuss that with me since I'm not involved with those filings. We have a social dinner and go our separate ways. When I get home, wayward spouse is waiting for me and asks if she can come in. Of course, the whole kitchen, LR and doctor are a mess from remodeling going on. She asks about it, and I tell her which design I choose. We talk about that for a minute and head downstairs. This will only take a minute, she says, and goes on to tell me that she went up to her old department to tell the people she worked with what really happened and why she left. A few questions are asked about what happened in POS's office and she fills them in as best she can. She gives me a hug and says she'll see herself out and that she'll see me at next marriage counseling. After she's gone, I went to the backyard and built a fire in the fire pit, went inside and grabbed my newest bottle of bourbon, Angel's Envy, and a glass of ice. I sit by the fire enjoying a few glasses of bourbon on reflecting back on the past 7-5 weeks. While I'm a long way from feeling normal getting that big contract, Saturday's meeting as a family and today's events have me feeling better than I have since before D-Day. I cannot thank everyone here in this community enough for all the advice, support and encouragement I have received. It means more than I can ever say. Thanks again for everything. P.S. I forgot to mention that while everything was going on with POS and that company, Shark Lawyer had her investigator deliver papers to POS's previous employer. The next one is titled, Update 3. Several people have asked about my best friend, guy who helped me in the aftermath of D-Day. He and his wife have been so extremely helpful, I can't begin to thank them enough. Finding excuses to stop by the house, making me dinner and dropping it off. Stopping by the office for no good reason. I talk with both of them, often letting them know how I'm doing. The kids are doing okay. Son is handling it better. Our daughter. Someone has suggested that one reason she is having a hard time with this is her fiancé. The old, want to know what your GF will look like at 20 years, look at her mom. Maybe the same applies to this. She's freaking out that her fiancé will see wayward spouse's infidelity as something that she may do somewhere in their relationship and that he might be having second thoughts about getting married. I hope this isn't the case with him, but I can understand why this is bothering our daughter. Going to figure out a way to deal with this if it is the case before it does irreversible damage. I brought up the idea of a polygraph last week in marriage counseling. Wayward spouse took one last week Friday. I'm satisfied with the results. That's all for now. Thanks for all the support and prayers. The next one is titled, Update 4. Quick update on POS. Heard from other betrayed spouse this morning. She was to have a meeting with POS and his lawyer at Shark Lawyer's office with Shark Lawyer and other betrayed spouse. He says nothing, not even hello. His lawyer starts in with how the settlement is to one-sided, He'll destroy it in court. Let's fix this before things get ugly and more lawyers speak. Shark lawyer lets him go on till he's done and asks him if he's really serious. The evidence they have, the 2 lawsuits for sexual harassment pertaining to his abuse of power at his job. His lawyer looks shocked and says, "Hold it a minute, what lawsuits?" So, Shark lawyer fills him on the details. His lawyer asked if they could step outside for a moment. He needed to talk to his client. While Shark lawyer and other betrayed spouse are outside conference room, Shark lawyer says that she knows what the conversation is going on right now, because she has been there herself. Nothing worse as a lawyer than being blindsided by some information that the other side has but you don't because your client didn't tell you everything. No matter how often you ask them, "Is this all you have to tell me?" Meeting is over and lawyer asks them to come in. Informs Shark lawyer that this conference is over, he no longer represents POS, and he will have to find other counsel. Closes briefcase, get up from table and tells POS that he'll be receiving his bill and walks out. Shark lawyer is trying not to laugh but tells POS to call her when he has a new lawyer and offers this advice. Next time be sure to tell your lawyer everything or the next one is walking out to, "And my client wants to get this over with so she can cut you out of her life forever." Tells him he can show himself out and they get up and walk out. God, he is an idiot. The next one is titled, Update 5. Nothing personal, except to say that today is RS's 50th birthday. Things are progressing well for me and her. Heard from other betrayed spouse today. POS is on lawyer number 2. They met today with Shark lawyer. Short version is that POS new lawyer severely underestimated Shark lawyer. Tried to force his hand in negotiating their settlement agreement. They felt it was too one-sided. Shark lawyer said so was the way he abused his marriage by having multiple affairs and fathering a child with one of his partners. His lawyer said that there is no proof of that. Shark lawyer pointed to the lawsuits and sworn depositions from all women involved. Shark lawyer said that her investigator is digging into POS employment history and so far has discovered 2 other women that he had affairs with, one resulting in his termination. She was bluffing but POS reaction told her that maybe she should look into that further. Bottom line, they finally agreed to everything other betrayed spouse wanted and signed the papers. Same lawyer is handling POS lawsuits and they wanted to discuss that next so other betrayed spouse had to leave. SL walked her out and was shaking her head about the bad tactics. Never discuss a second case when you just got your lunch handed to you in the first. Fall back, regroup and schedule another meeting. Other betrayed spouse said she was licking her chops and felt like SL was going to move in for kill. Other betrayed spouse has gone back to work for her former employer. They welcomed her back with open arms. She has spent the last week and a half learning new software and getting up to date on new tax laws and codes. Told me she hasn't felt this good in a long time. She still hasn't told her children the depth of what a piece of crap POS is. Said that Shark lawyer has offered to help. Get them to her office to discuss technical things about the divorce and slowly fill them in on all the details. She promised to let me know how that goes. The next one is titled, Update 6. Hi everyone, just wanted to say thank you for all your comments, support and prayers. RS and I are doing better, slowly moving towards reconciliation. I'm optimistic. After my last post, someone asked about AP number 2. I asked SL about her and she not doing very well. While SL has filed to reopen her child support case with POS, it takes a while. Of course, POS is showing his true colors and is even further behind on child support. AP number 2 is burning through what she got in her divorce and is struggling to find a job because of the pandemic and childcare. I thought I might be able to help her out. I briefly told my year-round staff her story without details and asked if we could pass the hat, that I'd match whatever they felt they could do. Called SL to get AP number 2 address and she said that she would call her and tell her I was coming. First time I met this woman was when POS was escorted from the building after getting fired. She looked tired. We made small talk for a minute, and she asked why I wanted to see her. I gave her the money, told her she could relax for a while. She told me that she would pay back every penny when she was back on her feet. I told her that wasn't necessary, but she insisted. Then I asked what she did when she was working, and she told me. I handed her an application and told her if she didn't mind boring office work, that I could use an extra hand during my busy season. Told her about the daycare on the other end of the complex where my yard is. This was Monday. Tuesday she dropped off the application. She starts next week Monday. No news about POS and the lawsuits. Other betrayed spouse is happy to be back working and seems to be moving on. No word on what she has done regarding telling her kids more information. The next one is titled, Update 7. Today is Monday. Last Friday was 12 weeks since D-Day. As good a time as any for an update. First, our kids are doing very well. Our son came around more quickly than our daughter. He accepted things and moved on his relationship with his mom. It took our daughter a little longer, but she is going to individual counseling and has reconnected with her mom. She has involved mom in her wedding plans, so things are looking up. She graduates from college next month and is excitedly looking forward to that. Other betrayed spouse is doing well and seems to be moving on. She has gone back to work with her old company and is excited to be back. She called tonight to tell me that along with SL they sat down and told her 3 kids about what a piece of crap POS really is. I'm sure it came as a big shock to them to hear about the double life their father, POS, was leading. That he fathered a child in one of his many affairs and that they have a half-brother that they never have met. AP number 2 started working for my company today. We shall see how it works out. Carol, my assistant for the past 20 years, thinks she going to fit in very well and seems happy to be back at work. Finally, RS and I are slowly and steadily moving towards reconciliation. She has done everything she needs to do. Some incredibly difficult and painful things. Polygraph, apology letter tour, addressed every red flag that stood in the way of reconciliation. At some point, seeing all the hard work she was doing, how hard she was fighting was like getting hit over the head for me. If she is fighting this hard, maybe I should get off my ass and get in the game. Some things are worth battling for. We are not there yet, but I am optimistic. This is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the relationship stories. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video and write a comment. I really appreciate your support and it helps my channel so much. Thank you.